Welcome to Keeping It Realty.
Welcome back to Keeping It Realty. I'm your host, Natalia Pierantoni.
And I'm your co-host, Martha Smith. Today's guest determines the price or the value of homes.
The appraisal process can sometimes feel frustrating or even confusing. Today's guest is going to help us break it down for us.
Please help us welcome certified residential appraiser and the president of Precision Appraisal, Nick Burnette.
Woo!
Thank you guys for having me here. I'm excited. Let's get into it.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for coming, Nick. We have some questions for you today. Before we dive in, though, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you get started in the appraisal world?
All right. So from Lakeland, Florida, born and raised. Went to Florida State, graduated with a degree in food and nutrition science.
Oh, wow. That's
Out
different.
of college, kind of decided that wasn't really for me. So I started looking at different opportunities. And I was going the home inspector route. About halfway through the certification for that, I got the opportunity to come on as a trainee appraiser for a local company. So in 2018, I started that, did about 3 years to get licensed. And then in 2021, I started Precision Appraisal.
Congratulations.
So how
on that
long have you
business.
been doing this whole appraisal thing?
About 7 years now.
Okay.
So I've seen the craziness from the COVID, and
Yeah.
it's been a wild ride.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
So let's start with the basics. What exactly is an appraisal and why is it required in most transactions?
So the most simple way to put it is just the opinion of value. In this case, it's for the residential property. So anytime you're getting a loan or financing, usually for a purchase or pulling money out for a refinance, the bank or the lender will require an appraisal just to make sure the money they're lending you can be recouped if they need to foreclose on it and sell it. So we're working for the lender just to make sure that they can get their money back out of that loan.
But you could also work for a seller, too. If they want help on determining the price of their home, they can hire you.
Yep. Yeah, there's all different kind of avenues. There's private stuff, a lot of estate work and tax abatement. So I focus mainly on mortgage lending, but I also do a little bit of the private kind of pre-sale listing and all that. So lots of different venues you can go down.
Very cool. Okay, so can you walk us through the process step by step? What does a typical appraisal look like from the time you get the order to when you deliver the report?
So we'll get the order from an AMC, which is an appraisal management company. They're kind of like the middleman between the lender and the appraiser. We'll get assigned the order, or we'll bid on orders and then get assigned. Once we get the order in, after about within 24 hours, we'll reach out to the point of contact to get that appointment scheduled. Then when we show up to the property, I like to start on the inside, kind of a basic walkthrough on the interior. We'll take notes, pictures. We have to take pictures of all the interior rooms, so bedrooms, bathrooms, living room, kitchen. We'll go out in the garage. We'll check a couple light switches here and there, make sure the water's running, just kind of get a general feel for the overall condition of the house.
Coming inspection.
Yeah, it's different from a home inspection, so I get that a lot too. So the appraisal inspection is just when we're gathering our data versus the home inspection where they're going to be kind of going in depth and checking everything. We're more just kind of doing a quick once over to get a general feel of the property. So after the inside, we'll go outside, kind of walk the perimeter. We'll take exterior photos, make some notes, check any outbuildings, pools, anything like that. And then all of our measurements will be done on the exterior. So the county does have measurements that they use, but we'll double check it just to make sure everything's accurate. So your appraiser should be kind of verifying all these measurements so that the report's accurate there.
Okay.
Okay. So what factors go into your evaluation? Is it all comps, upgrades, or neighborhood? Like it plays a big role in your
So
evaluation?
it's mainly the comps, but then the quality and condition, location kind of factors which comps we're going to use. So ideally for a comparable, you're looking for another property that would appeal to the same buyers. So if you're doing, a lake house, you'd be wanting to find other lake house properties. Or if you're doing a fully updated, remodeled property, you're going to be pulling other comps that are fully remodeled. Now, if those aren't available, you can use other comps, and that's where the adjustments come in to kind of make up for those differences.
I was going to ask, what if there isn't any, like in the area?
They make adjustments based on like other homes, I guess, right?
Yeah, so if there's nothing similar, like you're doing some rural acreage property with, a guest house and a bunch of workshops, we'll just keep expanding our search parameters. Usually we try to stay within 1 mile for a typical property, but some properties, big mansions, we might go 25 miles away. just however far you have to go to find the right comparables, or we can go back in time, go back a year or two if there's a good comparable, but then we'll have to apply time adjustments to kind of make up for the difference in the market there.
So do you ever get challenged by a realtor that maybe disagrees with the price?
Yeah, every once in a while. Surprisingly, it's only for when the value doesn't, it's not as high as they want.
Right.
I've yet to get one for a value too high.
Okay.
But that's called the ROV, or a review of value. So the realtor can request that from the lender. The lender will give them a form to fill out where they'll kind of go through, hey, this is why we think the value's off. It should be closer to this. And then they'll provide additional comparables. Like, why didn't they use this comp? I think these ones are better. Then the lender will send that to the appraiser, and they'll have to go through and explain, hey, we didn't use this comp because of this. The comps in the report were better for this reason. Or if there was a good comp that say we missed, then we can add that into the report and then adjust the value as needed.
Okay, so it can happen.
Wow.
But I'm sure you guys are like looking at all the comps and
Right.
So that's basically the official steps if we want to challenge it as realtors.
Yeah, so you reach out directly to the lender and then just kind of tell them you want to review the value, and then they'll kind of guide you along from there and see how it goes.
How happy are you?
Do you like it when realtors give you like comps up front? Does that help you out, or do you?
It doesn't. I always tell them they're welcome to, email me or give me any information they want. I'll maybe take a look at it. Worst I can do is, throw it away. I usually like to pull my own comps, and then I'll kind of judge the realtors a little bit after I pulled mine and see what their comps are. I'll be like, oh, okay, I use this comp, I use this one, or I'll be like, I don't even know what they're
Where
thinking.
did you get this?
Right, so
Gotcha.
I'll take a look at it. I don't mind. They're free to send over anything. The worst I can do is not look at it. So
Okay.
Okay, understood. So what are the most helpful things realtors can do to make your job easier during an appraisal?
Good question.
I'd say one of the big things is just to make sure the property is accessible. Sometimes we'll show up and there'll be, locked bedrooms, or the workshop's locked so we can't get inside. Now we have to come back out. There's a trip fee. It's going to push you back a week or so. So just
that's
making sure
important.
kind of everything's accessible at the property. And I kind of like when they give you a list of upgrades, just like a simple bullet point, like, hey, roof was replaced in 2024, kitchen remodeled 2017. Just kind of the general updates. So when I'm writing the report, I can just, look down at that and have easy
Pro
reference
tip.
for filling the report out.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. What's a common mistake from homeowners or agents that can hurt an appraisal?
So one of the things that kind of drives me nuts is when someone's going to do some remodeling or something, and they decide we're going to rip all the bathrooms or the kitchen out. And then halfway through, they're like, oh, we need to get, a loan. So let's get an appraisal. So now I'm showing up to a property that has no bathrooms and no kitchen, trying to appraise it. So, I'm going to use other comps that don't have bathrooms or kitchens.
Right.
So it's really going to hurt the value.
Right.
So even if it's dated bathrooms, dated kitchen, you're better off. If you think down the road you might need to get an appraisal, go ahead and get it ahead of time before you start, ripping everything out.
Yeah, that's
Good point.
That's a good point. So appraisals can sometimes kill a deal. What advice do you have for agents and buyers to make the home price right? Right. Most sellers want to list their house above market. I struggle with this all the time. Every time I go into a listing appointment and I show the comps, like what advice would you give a seller?
Yeah, it's pretty common. They'll want to kind of think the greatest of their house and go way over the market. So one thing you can do is maybe get an appraisal ahead of time, like a pre-listing. That'll kind of give you a ballpark of the comps in the area, what another appraiser is going to do. And then you can even give that appraisal to the appraiser that comes for the mortgage lending. Be like, hey, we just got an appraisal done, 2 weeks ago at this value. Here's the report if you want to look through it. And that can kind of give them an idea of where you got your comps from, how you valued it. So that could be pretty helpful.
So what's like the price range? Does it depend on like the square footage or like depending
the
on
complexity and the square footage. So,
Okay.
If you're in a cookie cutter neighborhood, and that's going to be a lot simpler. There's lots of comps. But if you're, rural lake house with 3 guest houses, so it's really property to property, but you're generally going to be somewhere 400 to 600, I'd say, for kind of a normal appraisal.
So if you do a pre-listing appraisal and we use your appraisal, let's say the bank sends another appraisal out, do you find that they agree with you, or do you notice a difference in what the appraisals are appraising the properties?
You'll notice a little difference. Every appraiser is, going to have their own opinions on everything. At the end of the day, it's an opinion of value.
Right.
It's not a stated fact. So you can kind of tell how much the appraiser really knows what they're doing just by reading through the report.
Okay.
So it's really up to the appraiser there.
And could we attach that appraisal, that pre-listing appraisal, to that form if we wanted to challenge?
I don't know if you'd necessarily attach the same one, but you could use those comparables that were in the first one and say, hey, we think these comparables are good ones, and you just put those comparables in.
Okay.
So you're out in the field every day, right? So what trends are you noticing in today's Florida market? Are the values like holding steady, rising, or?
It's been pretty steady the
correcting?
last couple of years, but I'd say a little correction is coming.
Okay.
Not sure if that's just the lull from, the fall after the summer rush is over. It kind of dips down usually. So it's kind of typical to be a little slower this time of year. Whether that's going to keep going down or whether it's going to come back up kind of depends on interest rates. But I don't see it going up. If anything, stable or maybe starting to correct a little bit.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Interest
Great
rates are
news.
supposed to drop a little bit. So.
More business for us.
So when you're doing an appraisal, do you look at like potential developments that are coming by? Maybe it's a rural area, but we know that there's a bunch of development coming up. Does that help the price at all?
It helps a little bit, but most of the appraisals are going to be kind of limited to that time period. So we will look at active appraisal or active listings and pending listings to kind of see what's on the market right now. What do people have the options of buying? But as far as about 3 months out or so, we're not really doing too far into the future. So that's why if you get an appraisal done on your property and it falls through and then they have a new offer, the bank will usually require a new appraisal if it's been more than a couple weeks or so, just because they want current. Because we can only kind of go with the data that we have available.
Well, things are always changing in real estate. Are there any changes in the appraisal process that we should know about coming soon? Or
Yes, there's actually a big one coming. They're switching up the whole appraisal form that they're using. They're going from the UAD 2.6 to the UAD 3.6, which is essentially just going to be a standardized form. It's going to be more dynamic entry, so it's going to be a lot more detailed. So you'll start to see the actual inspections taking a little bit longer. Usually they're about 30 minutes. It could be upwards of an hour now, just as they're kind of getting used to this new system. It's supposed to make it more streamlined to help the AI data entry so they can get better models for the AI and everything.
I was going to say, how does AI play into this? Because everything is
Going
utilizing
into that
AI now.
technology.
One of the main things I think they're doing this new form for is just a way to start gathering more data for their systems. So we'll see how it goes, but
When's that
But that's
supposed to roll
exciting.
out?
so the beta trials actually rolled out earlier this month, and then by November of next year, it's going to be mandatory that all appraisals take this new set. So we'll see it slowly rolling out as the year goes, and it might get pushed back, or we'll see how it goes. A lot of appraisers are kind of skeptical about what's coming. It's going to be a whole different way of reporting. So you could see longer turn times on appraisals, maybe a little bit higher fees. And it's going to be working some kinks out in the first year. So it's going to be an exciting time.
Exciting.
Fun.
Exciting for you guys.
Okay, tougher. Okay, so is there anything else that we haven't? I think we pretty much covered everything on appraisals, unless you feel like.
I think so. We're pretty
Yeah.
good.
Pretty
So
solid.
we like to do a little thing on the show where we put our guests in the hot seat for a rapid fire game.
All right, I'm ready.
So you ready? All right, I like it.
Let's go.
What's tougher to appraise, a brand new construction or a resale?
I'd say probably a resale. Because usually with new constructions, a lot of time you're in a new construction neighborhood. So
there's
been
multiple.
10 houses that
Yeah.
sold last week that are the identical floor plan. So whereas resales, you have more one-off custom homes.
Well, what about with new construction? You know how they'll sell and then all of a sudden the market just nothing's selling. And so they drop the price. And then you have people that bought at a higher price, because I've seen that with new
Right.
construction. So how does that?
Yeah, so that's where you have to factor in kind of the market conditions. So they've been kind of cracking down more on that, requiring either showing proof that the market's stable or showing that it's increasing or decreasing. Then if it is increasing or decreasing, you'll have to apply time adjustments. So even though one sold for 3 months ago, it's the same house. Well, the market's, come up or down since then. You'll have to apply adjustments to kind of make up for that difference.
Interesting.
All right. So what upgrades pay off the most?
I'd say some of the main things would be like your kitchen, your bathrooms, and then flooring would be the top ones, I'd think.
Yeah, pretty
three?
basic. Yeah. Okay. What's the most extra feature that adds no value to a home?
Now, this one's going to be controversial, but I think
We
solar
love it.
We
panels
love
are
it.
a little bit.
You said what?
Solar panels are a little
Oh,
bit.
gosh.
Some people, I paid $50,000 on solar panels. It's going to increase my property $50,000. Well, not really, because there's a lot of people that are like, I don't want solar panels. I don't want to upkeep with that. So the real savings you're getting from the solar panels is a decreased utility bill. It's not necessarily adding the same value of those panels.
And then you're paying the
Great
solar
point.
panel company, so it
right.
equals the same thing. And then once you have to replace the roof, then the solar panel's not under warranty, and it's a headache.
If it's
for
a
everyone.
30-year loan on the panels in the
Yeah.
last
No, it's a
20
mess.
years, then you're kind of
Exactly.
upside down right off the bat.
Yep. Okay. If a seller sells their home under value, will that affect the price of the surrounding homes?
It could a little bit. The appraisal might still come in over value, but on the county records and everything, it's going to be recorded as lower. But a good appraiser should kind of take a look at that and say, hey, this one looks like it sold under. Like it was a low list price. It sold in 1 week. All the other houses are kind of selling around this. So if you do enough research, you should be able to kind of figure that out. But it could have a little bit of effect if somebody's not digging deep enough to figure that out.
Yeah, that's good. What's the weirdest thing you've seen in a house?
I don't know. I've seen some weird stuff. A lot of kind of animal things. There'll be 30, 40 dogs living in one house.
Oh my goodness.
I thought you were
30
going to say
dogs.
taxidermy, like the taxidermy.
I have seen that too. I've gone into houses that look like you're on a busch garden safari. There's
My
giraffes in the living room.
My uncle
and
used to have like raccoons and things. I remember as a kid, he had
Zoological.
one room. Yeah, he had like a zoo back there.
Wow.
I don't think he ever hunted them. He purchased these things. They weren't
you just
even
wanna
like,
be there.
they weren't even souvenirs. All right. Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining us and helping us explain the appraisal process a little bit to our listeners. Can you tell everyone the areas you service?
So we're based out of Polk County. That's where we do most of our work, but we'll go into a little bit of the surrounding counties. So Little Hillsborough, Pasco. We'll go down into Hardy and Highlands, Osceola, kind of anything that borders Polk County, but we specialize in Polk County.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you so much. Where can our listeners connect with you?
They can reach out to me. Email is probably the best at Nick, N-I-C-K, at precisionappraisal.us. Just make sure you include the property address. I get that all the time where they're like, hey, what was the value? And I'm like, I get a lot of
to the
emails. You gotta tell me the address. So yeah, if you just send over the address and kind of what you're looking for, the email, I can get back to you.
Perfect.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure that you share this episode with anyone who needs an appraisal.
And if you would like to be a guest on our show, please email us at keepingitrealty@gmail.com.
See you next time on Keeping It Realty.
Thank you all for tuning into our podcast. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did.
Don't forget to follow us on social media at keepingitreal_T and share this episode with all your friends.
If you guys have any questions and topics that you guys would like for us for future episodes, let us know. Shoot us a message. We would love to hear from you guys.
See you next time on Keeping It Realty.